Taking soil samples and running soil test analysis is one of the easiest things you can do as a producer or homeowner to make sure your plants are healthy. Taking the right sample, though, is really important. Make sure that you do the soil sampling process correctly. Now, one of the things that we always recommend when you take a soil sample is take multiple cores. So when we say a core, that is a smaller piece of soil or smaller unit of soil that we take to get a composite. Our recommendation at Oklahoma State University is 15 to 20 cores. Now that composite is the one sample you submit to the soil testing lab to get your recommendations for pH and pK. A lot of people question why 15 or 20. That's a lot of samples and it takes a lot of time. And that's true. When you take that many samples, it takes a significant amount of time to go out there and make sure you get a good sample to get a good composite. 15 or 20 cores is what we need to get a good composite sample, and it really comes back to the statistics. To discuss some of that, if we look at the number of cores we have per sample, so we have number of cores per sample, or per composite sample. If we start off here and say this is 1 core and this is 30 cores, and we have our line in here 15, and get it up in here and we have this number. This side is error. So if we look, the higher we get on this bar, the further closer to the top we have, the more error we have in the analysis. We draw this out, and this is really indicative of most populations, people, animals, soil samples. If we look at our error and graph it, it looks something about like this, where it's coming down here, and if we only have 1 or 2 samples representing a population, so that's just 2 cores representing an entire field. We've got 2 little soil samples representing an entire field. We have a lot of error. That means that even though the field might have an average pH of 6, because of our error, this sample can come back anywhere between a 4 and 8, just because we take 2. The more samples you have, the more you go down this line, the more you reduce that error and make sure that the sample you're actually sending in better represents the whole. It's like taking population. Think you have 100 people randomly collected from the street, and you take 2 of them to say, my group averages this. What's the likelihood choosing 2 people out of 100 is going to best represent the group as a whole? And it's really getting to that 15 to 20 subsamples or 15 to 20 samples of a population does a great job of describing the population as a whole. Does it do it perfect? No, but it does an overall good. So that's why, as a nutrient management specialist and Dr. Zong in the soil testing lab, we really push, let's make sure we get a good number of cores in that composite so we can best describe the area that we're sampling. For more information, check out the SunUp website at www.sunup.okstate.edu.